If you're a fan of sex on the beach, and I don't mean the drink, just take care not to do it in Florida, as you may end up getting 15 years in prison. At least that's what happened to Jose Benny Caballero and Elissa Alvarez. Now, they were charged with lewd and lascivious behavior after a grandmother and many other people had actually witnessed them to doing something on the beach. Now, it wasn't quite clear from the video. Nobody out there actually saw that there was any sort of penetration, but they certainly looked like they were in the middle of the act. Now, this video was, there was a video recorded by a grandmother and numerous witnesses. They called the police to complain. Now, this grandmother said, quote, "I lived here since 1978, and I go to the beaches, and I've never seen anything like this." Well, yeah, okay. And she continues, we thought that they were dead, but when they woke up, they cuddled for a while, then started into the same thing they were before. Okay, so there you go. So obviously things were, you can make a guess, even though we can't confirm that there was any sort of penetration, anything going on. It certainly had the appearance of it. Okay, so look, they're in the wrong here. It's obvious they're in the wrong. However, what's even more wrong is the sentence that they had got. Now, take a look at this. Now, the police were called, and they were arrested, and Mr. Caballero got a little mouthy. Well, no surprise, right? Of course, if you're being arrested, you might get a little bit mouthy, especially when you're in the middle of doing whatever you were doing. Okay. However, this Florida couple have been convicted, as I said, of lewd and lascivious behavior, and they each could face up to 15 years in prison. Now, wait a minute here. Wait a minute. 15 years in prison? Whoa! No, not only that, but both will also have to register as a sex offender. Wow. Now, what was their defense? Their defense had to have been pretty terrible, right? Well, the defense for Benny Caballero, and which, by the way, he's 40 years old, and his 20-year-old lover, Elissa Alvarez, they claimed that they were dancing on each other, trying to wake him up. What a terrible, terrible defense. What is this, lawyer from Chuck E. Cheese? Ridiculous. He said, you folks cannot speculate, and in order to say they had intercourse, you would have to speculate. I think it's pretty obvious what they did. But nonetheless, he's right. I guess if you want to run into the realm of speculation, yeah, okay, that's fair. Now, the jury took about 15 minutes to come up with a verdict, especially after, of course, testimony from a witness who had said a 3-year-old had seen this display. Now, look, you don't want your kids around that. Totally. I wouldn't want my kids around that. Now, the thing is that, kids don't take it the way that we do. I'm sure they don't care, or if they're old enough to understand what's going on, they probably just laugh at it, giggle a little bit, right? It's not going to cause permanent damage. Their heads aren't going to explode. But still, do you still want them to see that kind of stuff? Of course not. But that doesn't mean you lock somebody away for 15 years for doing that and for getting mouthy. Here's what you do. You find them. You give them something light. Their lives are ruined. A 20-year-old and a 40-year-old, right? She's not going to, if convicted, she's not going to get out until she's 35 years old. That is a huge chunk of life. And having to register as a sex offender, their lives are ruined. Flat out. How are they going to get jobs? Right? If they're a sex offender, it's not as if they were raping somebody. Okay? Just lewd and lascivious behavior. It needs to be punished, obviously. It needs to be punished. They need to be, there's no doubt they need to know what they did was wrong. But a fine would do it just as well. But instead you're throwing them in prison, or you're going to, they face the possibility of being thrown in prison for the rest, for 15 years. And ruining the rest of their lives for being a sex offender. That just does not sit right with me. Like, we are way too punitive in America when it comes to our sentence. How come everything Every issue comes down to, let's throw them in prison. And throw away the key. You do something wrong? Prison. Oh, you're burning leaves in your front yard? You can't pay a fine? Prison. Oh, you have the appearance of having sex on the beach? Prison. We are a prison-happy nation. And yet we have the audacity to call ourselves the land of the free when we lock up more people than Iran and North Korea.